Hello and welcome back to the Combat Intel Media. We begin tonight with breaking developments in the Middle East, where reports are emerging of a fresh wave of Israeli airstrikes up inside Iranian territory, targeting what multiple intelligence sources describe as a key nuclear facility in the central province of Isfahan. According to early satellite data and intercepted communications, precision-guided missiles struck areas believed to house centrifuge workshops and underground enrichment halls tied to Iran's nuclear program. While the Israeli government has not officially confirmed responsibility, the scale, timing, and strike pattern bear all the hallmarks of previous IDF long-range operations, often conducted using stealth aircraft and standoff munitions. Eyewitnesses inside Iran report massive explosions lighting up the night sky near the Natanz and Isfahan industrial zones. Social media footage shows columns of smoke and emergency vehicles rushing toward the impact sites. Iranian state television has acknowledged an incident, claiming air defense systems were activated and several drones were intercepted, but local sources suggest the damage could be significant. This latest escalation comes amid soaring regional tensions following months of covert attacks, cyber operations, and shadow conflicts between Israel and Iran across multiple fronts, from Syria and Lebanon to the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. Analysts now warn that this strike could mark the most direct Israeli attack on Iranian soil since the assassination of top nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 2020. Unofficial sources in Tel Aviv suggest the operation was part of Operation Iron Shadow, a broader campaign to dismantle Iran's capacity to enrich uranium beyond the 60% threshold, a level dangerously close to weapons grade. Reports also indicate that Israeli F-35 fighter jets may have been used, flying through air corridors coordinated with regional allies. Inside Iran, emergency meetings were reportedly held at the Supreme National Security Council as top officials assessed the scope of damage and possible retaliation. Iranian military spokespersons have vowed a decisive and immediate response, calling the attacks an act of war orchestrated by Israel with U.S. support. In Iran, crowds gathered outside key government buildings, chanting slogans against Israel and the United States. State media outlets, including Press TV, framed the attack as an attempt to derail ongoing talks with Asian and European partners aimed at restarting elements of the nuclear deal. Meanwhile, unverified footage circulating online shows what appear to be cratered facilities, destroyed radar systems, and burned vehicles near the targeted areas. Military experts note that Israel's strategy of preemptive deterrence, striking before threats mature, has expanded dramatically in recent years. Beyond its air campaign in Syria and operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon, the IDF appears increasingly willing to project power directly into Iran, betting that Iran will hesitate to respond overtly for fear of triggering a full-scale war. However, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, is unlikely to remain silent. Sources close to Iranian intelligence suggest preparations for a retaliatory drone and missile strike, possibly against Israeli or Western-linked assets in the region. A senior Iranian commander reportedly stated, "The era of unilateral aggression is over. Any strike on Iranian soil will be answered on multiple fronts." Regional observers warn that this tit-for-tat cycle could soon spiral out of control. The United States Central Command, CENTCOM, has placed nearby bases in Iraq, Jordan, and Bahrain on heightened alert, anticipating possible retaliation. Commercial airlines have been advised to reroute flights away from Iranian and Israeli airspace, fearing escalation. As of this hour, satellite imagery shows fires still burning near Isfahan, while emergency teams battle to contain secondary explosions likely caused by stored fuel and ammunition. The extent of the damage to Iran's nuclear infrastructure remains unclear, but defense analysts estimate it could set back Iran's enrichment program by several months, depending on which facilities were hit. Meanwhile, Israel remains tight-lipped. In a brief statement, an IDF spokesperson said only that the military will act wherever and whenever necessary to defend Israel's security. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, addressing his cabinet earlier today, reiterated that Israel will never allow Iran to obtain nuclear weapons. This latest round of hostilities underscores just how fragile the regional balance has become, with Iran's proxies in Lebanon, Yemen, and Syria already threatening to open new fronts, and Israel reinforcing its missile defense systems from Iron Dome to Arrow 3. The Middle East appears to be edging closer to a multi-front confrontation. Diplomatic channels are now in overdrive. The United Nations Security Council has called for an emergency closed-door meeting, while Russia and China have condemned what they describe as Israeli aggression. The United States has called for restraint but reaffirmed its unbreakable commitment to Israel's security. Energy markets reacted instantly. Oil prices spiked by nearly 8%. And global investors are bracing for further volatility if Iran moves to close or disrupt shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for global energy supplies. As the situation evolves, one question looms large: will Iran retaliate directly, or through its network of proxies? A coordinated response could draw the entire region into conflict, from Iraq and Syria to the waters of the Red Sea. For now, both Israeli and Iranian forces remain on high alert, with military analysts warning that the next 48 hours will be critical in determining whether this remains a contained strike or the opening salvo of a much broader regional war. We'll continue to monitor this developing story as more verified details emerge. Stay with us here on Combat Intel Media for real-time updates, satellite analysis, and exclusive defense intelligence on the Israel-Iran confrontation that could reshape the Middle East once again.